If you've ever wanted that blurry background, cool depth of field effect, well, today's your lucky day. I'll walk you through my own personal studio setup, what I've done to get that, and as a bonus, we'll talk about lighting best practices. I'm looking forward to it. Let's get started. Welcome to Presentation Plus Ups. You know, I operate in a virtual world like so many of you. In this episode, I wanted to really just peel back the layers a little bit and let's talk about my camera situation. I get a lot of good feedback about the look that I have. A lot of people will say, "Do you have a green screen? I mean, what's going on back there?" And if I just back up a little bit, you'll see that's a real table. And right now it's clean, it's clear. But when I get close, it gets blurry. All right. We call that depth of field, is what the camera folks call that. And to achieve that type of effect, you generally are going to need a little bit of hardware. And it was something that I really personally noticed when I looked at influencer videos and when I had the interest of at least doing some videos myself, but more importantly, just on a daily basis when I am operating as a creative director. I just wanted to uplevel that presence, and I found it to really be very beneficial in terms of, number one, better projecting myself with clients and fellow associates all around the world. So I want to just walk you through a couple things. So I'll put up some B-roll while I'm doing this, but I want you to notice that I have my camera mounted really nicely on an actual desk mount. Okay, so I will go ahead and get some footage of that. I actually found a very affordable bit of mounting for that, and I've done some guerrilla things. As you'll see here, I've taken some wood and just done some things like mount a little mounting post onto this desk. So I've done some guerrilla things in addition to effective things. But overall, I think you'd agree that the effect, it's a really clean look. I have a DSLR camera. So the first thing that we're going to want to do, if you want this up-leveled look, one of the most proven ways is to use a DSLR or a mirrorless camera and go ahead and set it up with some additional features to get this depth of field. So I'll walk you through my journey. I know it's not the only journey. It's not the only solution. When I did this, I looked for the most cost-efficient price of entry that I could to get into this, and I've been very happy with this over the years. Okay, so let's take a look at this. The first thing I want you to do, and I don't care whether you're looking at a Canon, a Sony, any type of DSLR, what you're gonna look for, I'm gonna save you about 4 hours of research here. A DSLR, or if you have a DSLR, check your manufacturer site and see if you have a clean HDMI output. That's a fancy way of saying that the camera can go ahead and truly just project out what it is seeing to your computer without having all those little crop marks, the things that you see if you're looking through your focal lens, all the on-screen graphics that show you your f-stops and your white balance and all that kind of thing. That's essential. So the first thing I did is I said, okay, what's the most affordable DSLR or mirrorless camera with a clean HDMI? And the one that I settled on after lots of research, and you can see there's all kinds of cameras here. I mean, Canon cameras, I mean, you can run into the tens of thousands on a camera. But the one that was clean HDMI, that was the lowest price, which is what I wanted, was this Canon Rebel SL3. Okay, so that's what I went with, is the Rebel SL3. And it looks a little like this. At the time of purchase, the one that they could get me immediately happened to be white. So it's mounted and it's white. Now you're gonna notice that my camera's got a huge lens on the front of it. And that's the second component, is you're going to want a specialty lens that gives you more of this depth of field. All right, so a typical lens is just gonna give everything in focus, and it's not going to give you that arty look. Okay, so after a lot of research, I ended up with this lens. Okay, the lens that I ended up with is a Sigma 35 millimeter. It has a 1.4 f-stop, lets in a lot of light. It allows you to have that art style background, which is what you're seeing right here, where it gives you some of that blur factor. Okay, it gives you that ability. It also does some really good things in terms of the amount of light it lets in and really gets you that arty look. So those are two things from the camera perspective. You're going to want a DSLR or a mirrorless camera that has a clean HDMI output. And if you want to have that depth of field like this, then you'll generally want a specialty lens that is compatible for your make and manufacture. So again, Canon Rebel SL3 here in the United States, and then a Sigma 1.4 f-stop 35 millimeter lens. And if you shop on Amazon, you're going to see all kinds of various options. You can get all kinds of kits and caboodles with it. That's your choice. But that is a key piece of the puzzle for you. Okay, let's talk about a couple of other nitty-gritty things you're going to need. All right, now you're going to need to be able to take your camera video feed and output it and connect it to your computer so it shows a video stream. That is, you just have to have that. And so when I looked at that, I'm like, I don't even know what to search for on this. And after doing some looking, what I found out is there is a thing called a capture card. All right, so I'm going to show you what that looks like. And by the way, I'm on the Elgato website, so that's elgato.com. And on their website, if you go there, you can go to cameras. They have some different cameras, by the way. If you don't want to go to the DSLR level, if you want to look at some alternatives, there's some good stuff out there. It's still not going to get you this nice hardcore arty look like this, but it's going to get you a really good presence. So you can choose on that end. No problem. I will not be offended. But if you want to go this route, what you're going to need is a capture card. And what you're seeing on my screen here, this is a capture card. So what it's going to do is take the HDMI feed from your camera, and it is going to do its magical transposition or whatever you call it, and it will turn it into a video feed that your PC or Mac can then stream and show as your webcams. Okay, let's think about this. So far, we've got a clean HDMI camera, whether it's mirrorless or a DSLR. You have a snazzy lens to give you that depth of field effect. You've bought a capture card. You're gonna need a couple of other things here. So let's talk about that. Okay, the next thing you're going to need is a cable to connect your camera to the capture card to the computer. So what I have up here is, for my particular camera, it has a mini, it's a teeny little cute little baby HDMI on the side that goes into the camera that feeds to a typical HDMI cable. So I would search for that, and when you go on Amazon or a B&H, or you go down to Best Buy or wherever you would buy something, is make sure it looks much more like this one. This is $12.69. It might be the one I bought for all I know, but you're going to see that there is it's like a father and a child. It's like just a big one, little one. What I would do is I would pay attention to the size of it. You can see this one is 6 feet. So based on how far your camera is from your PC, bear that in mind. That is something very important for you to keep in mind, no doubt. Okay, one thing I almost forgot about, but it's so important, but it's so reliable, I continuously forget about it, is you're going to want to have an AC adapter. And I don't think the name's a really good one, but it's a dummy battery coupler. So what this will do for you is, this is a little adapter that you swap out the battery, and you put this in, you plug it in, and suddenly, yeah, your camera just works. So one of the things is, it's so reliable that I honestly have my camera, sometimes I'll just forget about it for a day and forget to turn it off, but it's AC powered all the time. I've never had any problems with it, and it just works. So you're gonna wanna do that. The next thing you need really, and this is the coup de grace, is something to hold the camera. So you got a couple options. You could either go with a tripod, which I did for about a year. And the good part of a tripod is that it's really stout, it's strong. The downside is a tripod takes up a lot of space. So when I redid my office, which I just did about a month ago, I said, I want to reclaim some of this space for my life. In other words, I don't want to have a tripod like 6 feet behind here, just eating up all kinds of space. So I went with a desk mount stand, and I think that's something I would highly consider. In fact, you're going to notice I have desk mount stands for both my lights and my camera. And if I knew it was going to be this easy, I would have did it a year ago. I just happened to have had a tripod, so I had put my camera on that, and well, you know what, I suffered. So I'm going to show you what I went ahead and picked up, and you could do certainly the same thing if you'd like to. So I went on Amazon. In fact, let me make that a little bigger for you here. And I looked for a camera pole mount. I didn't even know what the professional name was, and I came up with several options. So I personally went with this VIJIM, Video Gym, maybe, I don't know. And this is a camera desk mount. I found it to be pretty darn good. It's very affordable. And yeah, this is super, super handy. Let's just look at the video together. But yeah, this video really does a great job of painting the picture. Super easy. Now, I will say this, if you're going to make sure it's a table mount, make sure you have enough area to clamp it on. I personally went to a home goods store and actually got a like a 1x6 board and then screwed it onto my table. I went a little Garage Logic on it. It's great. I mean, this mount is fantastic. You can see it comes with a little mount for phones. You can put lights on it. You can do all kinds of things. You can become this guy, a multi-billionaire. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the bonus, and the bonus is the lights. Okay, I think anybody would agree to make a camera really pop is having some good lights. So I want to talk about a couple of bonus things here for you. And to do that, I'm going to turn off my key lights. So here we go. Turning them off right now. Okay. So I'm going to say this. First of all, one of the benefits of having a DSLR is it has auto white balancing. So as you change your lighting, it's going to dynamically adjust the lighting for you. Okay. So if we go to my background here and we just look, you can see my key lights are off. Now, I've done a couple of things intentional on my office setup to tilt things in my favor. And the first thing is you will notice that, and you can kind of see in the glare on this little Yoda image over here, is that I have my office facing away from my window. Okay, that is a classic error I see so much. You're not doing your camera any favor if you have your camera pointed at the light. Okay, you're just blowing it out. I even see that on sports talk radio and everything like that. It's not helping the show. Okay, so the first thing is, I would say, even before you invest in any lights or think about lights, is just use what God gave you here, and that is natural light is great if you let it come in behind the camera. All right, so that's number one. In fact, if we just look at my lighting right now, it's really actually pretty good, right? That's just natural, God-given sunlight coming through here. It's a blue sky day. It is about 5:19 here in the Arizona Standard Time right now, and we're getting some pretty decent light in here, okay? But remember, when we kick this up, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on my key lights, once my camera adjusts here, you've got next level lighting. I mean, super even, really clear, really nice professional lighting. And it makes a great difference, number one, whether I'm just on camera on a Zoom or Teams, or if I'm using my home studio and if I'm cutting some of these videos. Okay, having these lights on really, really helps the show. So you can go with some higher end lights. These are LED key lights from Elgato. I'll put that website up here for you and show you that. They are on table mounts. You can get a little more basic light. I think this was well, let's just see what the price was on this. Let's go back to that Elgato website here. I'll bring that up for us. And yeah, let's just go to the lighting here. I got the key lights, okay? They've got different options. Ooh, I can even get a light strip. Maybe I'll have to put that on the old purchase order here. But okay, so I got these key lights. I love them. They're a couple $100 a pop. But I got to tell you what, I had gone the cheap route for a while, and I have to say, these key lights, they're worth every penny. So number one, in that they work at a really low light level, so they don't blind you. I can have them on for hours. They're not hot. so they don't wear you out in that respect. I like the fact that they come with the desk mounts already built into it, so there's an additional value add. And just like our friend here, she looks way cooler than me, but it gives you a softbox. It really does. The lighting is so nice and even with the lights. And I love the fact that there's controls. Okay, so not only controls, but you can control them wirelessly. You connect them to your Wi-Fi, and I'll give you a couple of examples here. Let's just go ahead and put ourselves back onto my back cam here. You see my lights. Now I've got them hooked up here to my Elgato Stream Deck, and I'm just going to make them brighter. Okay, so I'm going to kick these things up and just get going brighter and brighter and brighter. And yeah, I'm blowing you out right here. But I can also set them to a default. I just set them at 10% normally as a default, but having that wireless control really makes it easier overall on a daily basis. Okay, that's today's camera special. I hope you enjoyed it. I've certainly found a lot of value in this. Now, no question, doing the math, it's an investment. Hopefully you found this valuable. If you have any questions, drop me a line. Thanks so much for tuning in, and please make it a great week.